And welcome back to another episode of Across the Board. It is Monday, January 26th. It's freezing cold outside, but luckily we are inside because I would be freezing right now.
Yeah, us Floridians aren't quite used to this below freezing weather. I mean, you can't really
Well,
buy any heavy winter gear around here, and it's only get colder as the week goes on. Possibly snow next week. Highly doubt it, but who knows?
I just hope not. Golf isn't too much fun in the cold, so can't play it.
You, dude, the worst feeling in golf. Okay, I think we should just make a video one day of ranking the worst feelings in golf.
I know it would top one of the list, yeah.
At
Well,
least in the
close,
top.
close, yeah, it's close.
It's
Top three,
it's at least top three to top five. Because there's no way
yeah,
anybody would tell you that that feels any good when you catch it thin
on a cold day.
right on the hands. That glove does not do nothing for you.
Mm-mm. Nope, not
It
at all.
hurts. It hurts.
Not at all. But we got some things to cover today. We got last week's CFP game to cover. A week from today, actually, was when it was. And then college basketball over the last week. A lot of good games there, a lot of things to cover, a lot of teams. And then the PGA Tour started. We mentioned that last Thursday. Well, actually Friday, but PGA started again, first actual tournament of the year, and we got to cover who won that. No surprise there, to be honest with you. And yeah, we can let's get it rolling. Let's go back to a week ago and the big game in this college football world, obviously, to end off the season, the college football national championship, Indiana versus Miami in Miami.
Well, let's just say this game definitely did not disappoint. Indiana with a strong first half, or I mean, I call it strong. They were up 10-0, and Miami came out the gates, had Mark Fletcher with an explosive run to get Miami on the board. Um, and from there, it was a dogfight. Uh, Mark Fletcher, no surprise. Malachi Tony and Mark Fletcher both had themselves a game. Mark Fletcher, 17 rushing attempts for 112 yards with two TDs. Malachi Tony, 10 receptions for 122 yards with a TD. No surprise to see those guys going. Um, Carson Beck didn't have a bad game until until a
Yeah,
costly interception that ended the season. That ended the run. He was 19 for 32 for 232 yards with a TD and interception. Um, Honestly, I thought Miami played well in the second half. I was kind of I say surprised because after the first half, I'm like this. I didn't think they really were going to get much going on offense, but they got turned around fast. Mark Fletcher had some big runs, um, but Indiana stood strong when they needed to. Mendoza, fourth and goal, or was it fourth and five? It was fourth and five.
yeah,
Had a draw
was.
play, which I saw was kind of ironic. Somebody showed a clip. They went all the way back to week one when Miami played Notre Dame, and Notre Dame ran like the same play on the same yard mark, and they scored on it. Mendoza scored here. He was passing 16 for 27, 186 yards, no TDs, no INTs. He on the ground. He had seven attempts, -8 yards, but he had the rushing touchdown. Of course, that's not including sacks or anything. Um, Omar Cooper had a good game, five receptions for 71 yards. Charlie Becker, four receptions for 65 yards. Elijah Surratt, three receptions for 28 yards. But again, it's no surprise that this Indiana team did what they did in this game. Um, I think the big surprise was how Miami answered in the second half. I think to me, after watching the first half, I mean, it really. I get the question was, would Miami respond in the moment that they were in? and they did. Um, but Indiana just the cherry on top, way to end the season. Had a big interception to close the game out. Um, that was huge for them. Um, but this national championship did not disappoint. Um, Indiana dominated time of possession. They had the ball for 35 minutes, 47 seconds. Miami, 24 minutes for 53 seconds. When you look at all the numbers, I mean, they're really all the exact same. Um, Miami took some penalties, 7 penalties um, in this game. But, I mean, you look at a lot of the numbers, everything's the exact same. Uh, Miami lost the turnover battle. They were -1, and that was the costly interception that ended the game. Um, a lot happened in that game though, but I mean, there's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts, but it looked like he definitely had him if he gave it some air. But hey, it is what it is. Indiana just capping off a monumental season for them.
Yeah, yeah, they are. They definitely did. The first 16-0 season, and well, I think Yale went 16-0 in like 1940 or something.
And
But
it was like no, it was 1800. I think it was like
oh,
I could have
18
sworn it was like 18
1840.
something.
A long time ago is all we know. Um, but yeah, Indiana just being the better team overall. Not really surprising. The game was close though. It was a good game to watch. I think they did what we thought Miami would if they would have done, could have won the game. Basically, what we told Miami they needed to do to win the game is what Indiana ended up doing, running the ball a ton, just kind of bullying Miami's front line on defense and getting first downs and controlling the time of possession, not getting the ball into Carson Beck's hands. And even when they did, the defense was really good. Obviously, only 21 points scored by Miami. And I mean, overall, Indiana did look like the better team. They had their ups and downs during the game, but so did Miami. Obviously, started off slow and came back in the second half a lot better, which kind of is what we expected after seeing the first half when not many points were scored. We knew both teams could score the ball. It just is, made some adjustments at half and came out and actually found some holes in the defense. But when the defense needed to step up the most, Indiana's did, and obviously got the pick at the end of the game. Kind of ironic to end Miami's season is a pick by Carson Beck. We've been
Isn't
saying
that's
it. We've been saying it all playoff is him not to make, not for him not to throw an interception, not to make a turnover, and he hadn't done it, and they were doing really good, and
and then
then comes down to the play that they actually needed in the national
um,
championship, and he throws one.
I don't mind. I want to interject here for a quick second. I believe in all three of their losses, including this one here. The game ended for Miami off of a Carson Beck interception.
Yep,
I mean, he
yep.
played well this playoff for sure. We're not. I mean,
No,
but
it's just there was a reason why we kept saying he could not turn over the ball was because when they didn't turn over the ball, they were really good. I mean,
mhm.
they were no doubt about it, and we saw it in the playoffs. They were really good, and they could beat people. Um, but like you just said, in all three of their losses, it ended on a Carson Beck interception. And again, there's a reason for that. It's kind of what Indiana did. Last Monday is basically what all the teams that beat Miami did. They kept the ball out of Carson Beck's hands, and then they made them go down and score at the end of the game, and made them throw the ball. And Carson Beck threw an interception. I mean, it was basically what we said Indiana had to do, and they played their game, and they did it. They did it well. Obviously, coming out as the national champions, and I mean, great for Kurt Signetti and Fernando Mendoza. Finally saw a smile out of the man at the end of the game. I mean,
Dude,
who wouldn't be
that
happy about that?
the dude's facial expressions like that just gets you every time.
Hey, man,
But
you can't be happy till you win the game. All right.
that's his mindset, for sure.
And they did that 16 times this year. So, I mean, they end off an amazing season, probably uh, the best turnaround in college football history. Uh, who knows what is to come? I mean, they
But
got
that's
a great recruiting. I mean, they have a good recruiting class. They have a great transfer portal class.
And
and going into next year. I mean,
that's what I was just about to say. Like the sky's the limit for this team. I mean, they got Hoover out the portal from
yeah,
TCU. He's an athlete. Um, the many others are going to bring in, plus the recruiting. I mean, and the sky's the limit for Indiana for sure. I mean, there's a lot to look forward to, and I think I feel the same for Miami. I think
oh
Miami,
yeah,
the sky's the limit. I think they've got a bunch of talent coming in. Um, I think definitely we'll make a video kind of going through a lot of teams that you know we think could boost or kind of guess when did I say predict their season, but
yeah,
guess talk about the recruiting class and everything. But I mean, for these two teams, yeah, the recruitment, what they've got coming in, I think the sky's the limit. I think these teams can both be capable of winning a national title. Um, and we'll see going forward how this all plays out.
yeah. I think the IU is here, and the U might be back. But yeah, I mean, yeah, amazing game to watch. Probably, well, I know we hadn't had a one possession national championship game in like 7 years or something. It'd been a while. I think like 2018 was the last one,
I'm trying to think. Last year we had
but it wasn't one possession.
I trying to remember what last year was.
Ohio State Notre Dame.
Yeah, that was a
That
close
was
one.
two. Yeah, it was still two possessions though, but we hadn't had a one possession game since I believe it was 2018. I believe, maybe 2016. I don't know, but one of those. So it was a great game to watch. Amazing game. Great way to end off the college football season. Sad to see it go. Sad to see it go. Will be missed until it comes back in 200 and something days, but
I mean, we
we'll
say
be
we
happy
miss
when it
it, but
does.
we're going to be too distracted watching all the other sports, and then we're like, oh hey, college football's here.
True, true that.
I'm already ready for it to come back. College basketball's not treating me well.
Well, yeah, ready for it to come back, see what happens next year as well. But yeah, that was a CFP game. Like we said, can't wait for college football to come back later in the year. But moving on to what's important now is college basketball. Obviously, had another great week college basketball. Never disappoints. Now it won't ever disappoint, but it did not disappoint this last week. And so yeah, let's kick it off with that.
Well, I want to start in the ACC, a team I feel like we've dogged on past however many weeks he's been now. But I think it's time to give some props to North Carolina. They beat Notre Dame this week by a ton. Then they get a huge comeback win over Virginia. They were trailing, I want to say it was by 9 at half. Um, I mean, that's huge, especially because they took a bad loss to Cal. I mean, Cal's a good
Mm-hmm.
team, but a game you should win. And then they lost to Stanford, gave up a lead. Um, but in my mind, a huge win for this North Carolina team. And we'll see if this kind of gives them that step in the right direction.
Yeah, North Carolina was down 16 with 2 minutes left in the first half, and that game kind of looked out of reach for them. Looked like Virginia was going to hand them another loss. Virginia has been really good. You know that we've it's a I know people have been saying they're a dark horse team in the ACC to go on and do something in the tournament, and it looked like they were going to do that. It looked like they were going to get another good win, a powerful, strong win at home. But then came the second half, and North Carolina finally figured out what they needed to do. Um, Caleb Wilson had 20 points in that game. Trimble had 16. Then they had some guys that they don't usually get a ton of scoring from, and Stevenson and uh, Bogavock that 17 and 14 there. And Dixon had 11. I mean, they found the scoring that they needed in the second half, and that was what was important for them. They outscored Virginia by 14 points, and it kind of just looked like Virginia didn't have um, anything to stop them. They just that they did in the first half. Obviously, you said they were up 9 after the first half, and they had that 16-point lead. And I think something just flipped. They found their way. They started shooting a little better in the second half. UNC honestly did not shoot bad the whole game. They were 46% from three, which is something that they had been allowing other teams to do to them. So hey, you force the other team. Virginia only shot 30%, and they shot 46. It looked good in that way, and then obviously shot 50% from the field. They looked really good in the second half. It looked more like the UNC team that we had kind of been expecting. The team that we thought, obviously should have beat some of the teams that they lost to, and Cal and Stanford. Yes, the West Coast trips are difficult, but this was kind of the team that we were kind of looking forward to. The team that everybody thinks could actually be a contender in the ACC. So we'll see if they keep it up. That's the real question: is that they keep up the shooting? Can they keep up the good defense? And maybe get back in it in the ACC. They have Georgia Tech next, and then Syracuse, and then they have Duke coming into town on February the 7th.
Yeah, two must wins for them. But again, conference play is difficult.
Definitely.
Syracuse could be an interesting game for them. But again, I think a step in the right direction, and just a little bit of a positive spark, and we'll see where that carries them.
Yeah.
Now let's head to the Big East. St. John's, I kind of want to mention they beat Seton Hall this week, and they beat Xavier, won six straight. They've won six straight.
Yeah.
Um, Trailing Seton Hall, they come back and beat them, um, and then they go and beat Xavier.
Yeah, they were
Um,
trailing. They were trailing in that game too. They were down 16 in the second half.
yeah, I mean they were trailing in these games, but I think for me, it's more of just a positive. If as a St. John, if being if you're a St. John's fan, I think there's a positive going to win six straight games because we have not seen this kind of play from them in what feels like, I guess, a while. I mean, more the consistency. Like we know they're a good team,
Yeah.
but we've been sitting here saying, well, we don't even know if they're a tournament team. I
Yeah.
mean, the Big East has been that way, but St. John's has seemed like they've kind of gotten back on track. Um, but I think it's important to mention, especially the team we and you were very concerned about. They've gotten six straight, a couple big wins this week, and we'll kind of see what's ahead for them.
Yeah, I think for them, they think they're embracing their size of their team. Um, they are a pretty big team, tall team, and they've kind of just bullied everybody they've played. They're not the best shooting team in the nation for sure. I mean, they really aren't. They shot, I think, like 20% from three when they beat Seton Hall, which was just horrendous. Actually, 17%. Um, and I think at the beginning of the year, they were kind of trying to shoot the ball too much. They weren't really uh, taking advantage of the size of their team. And you can see that they've started to get in a rhythm here. And actually, again, their 6 game winning streak. They've looked really good. They've beat good teams in the Big East, teams that we said could compete in the Big East. And we'll see if they can keep doing it. Obviously, still far away from winning the Big East. UConn's still the favorite there, and still going to
But
take, but on the rise, and definitely could make a run for it. They have Butler and DePaul next, and then they have UConn coming into town on February the 6th.
yeah,
So I think that'll be the deciding game on whether or not this is really the St. John's team that we expected this year. Um, it still probably won't be even come March, but maybe they have something and they figured out something that they could do to maybe keep them playing in the tournament come March.
yeah. I mean, and I kind of just adding this here for a moment. Kind of mention one of their games. They're playing UConn. What are your thoughts on UConn right now, as in how they played of late? They got a big win against Villanova this week, but then they played Georgetown close, and then they had that close win. They beat Providence, but close games. What are your thoughts on them?
I mean, it's the UConn team. We know there's nothing really. I know Nova probably should have won that game. They had every chance to. They kind of dominated UConn, and they dominated UConn the whole game. Even though the biggest lead was only 8, they just never really gave up anything. UConn didn't hold a lead until the second half, and then Villanova got it back, and just slowly and steadily, UConn got it back to being tied and forced into overtime. And then overtime, Nova couldn't do anything, and it's kind of I don't know. I think we've seen we've seen UConn play some close games this year. It's nothing surprising. UConn has played close games over the past few years that they've been really good, or even last year when maybe they weren't the greatest. They were still great. I mean, they still. This is the UConn team. They're gonna scrape out some of these close wins, but they're gonna show you who they are. They can shoot the ball down the stretch when you have a shot that needs to be made. Their guys will do it. I mean, solo ball is still balling. Um, I mean, like they have the guys to be able to win these close games, and that's what they show you. Is that even when they go down to teams like Nova, who are good teams in the Big East, who could very well compete with the St. John's or the UConns, they even when they have these close games, they pull them out because of the ball players that they have. And that's why they're the number 2 ranked team in the nation, is because of who they have. They've shown that they can win these close games and they're not going to lose them. Now, does it give you some kind of, does it, is it not really a great thing? Should they be blowing some of these teams out? Yes. I mean, they probably should be. But at the same time, it is conference play. These teams, are going to give them heck of a competition because they know who they have to beat. Especially if you're Nova and you're trying to prove that maybe you should be a tournament team, maybe you should compete for the Big East. You've finally having another good year in quite a while. You're going to give them a test. You're going to give them all you possibly can, but it's also showing you that these teams are giving them all they can, and they still can't beat UConn. So, I mean, and nothing really. I mean, just you're going to have some close games if you're UConn. Still, they're the front runner out of they're a mile ahead of everybody else in the Big East, and they'll keep it that way until they play St. John's, and we'll see if maybe the St. John's team can compete with them.
Yeah. And the reason I brought up the question, and I guess kind of the way I wanted was just asking like how they play. And obviously, I'm not concerned about them. They're going to be a great tournament team.
Yeah.
That's not my concern. It's not really a concern. It's more of, does this open the door for two Big East teams to get in? Is kind of where I'm going with this, because I mean, we saw how close they played with, Georgetown and Providence. And I mean, in conference play, you're beatable, but they won their games. I know they're a tournament team, but in your mind, does this kind of open the door for a possibly two bid Big East with your conference winner and then UConn?
Well, I think it was already probably a too Big East just because of how St. John's been playing as of late. I think it could be a 3 bid Big East, um, depending on what Nova does. Nova has looked really good. They they have looked really good. Um, I know people had thought Seton Hall could be one. They've kind of fallen off the map. I
They
think
can't.
Nova can easily. I think Nova can easily be a tournament team. You could have 3 if Nova can win out, and their only losses come to UConn, or maybe even they win one, they lose the other game to get to St. John's, and those are the only 2 losses. St. John's continues, and they only lose to UConn, and they lose in the Big East tournament to UConn or somebody like that. They could easily make it 2. Um, I think it could be a 3. UConn's probably going to win the Big East, but if they don't, obviously they're a tournament team no matter what. Uh, Villanova, again, I think they're the third team to look at when you look at the Big East. I think UConn, St. John's, Villanova are your 3 teams
Yeah.
that could possibly make it.
Yeah. And Villanova did lose to St. John's in that 6 game win streak they're
Yeah.
on for St. John's. They did lose there. But for sure, I thought it was just something to mention because I know obviously Villanova and St. John's are playing better, but the idea of that could there be a different conference champion is kind of where I was kind of going with that. I
Yeah.
mean, but again, it's so important to just mention the fact that it is conference play,
Hmm.
and just with that being said, these games are going to be close. Like,
Oh, yeah.
and me and you have talked about it last night. Even that's just how it's going to go, and
Definitely.
that's what we said about the A10 even. So we'll
Yeah.
we'll go ahead and move on. We're gonna go to the Big Ten. We actually got 3 teams to talk about in the Big Ten. Let's start out with UCLA. A big win against Purdue. Um, a very this team is solid. We kind of this is a solid basketball team. We've kind of talked about it. We know they're a good team. They've had their struggles, but they get a huge win against Purdue this week. They beat Northwestern as well. Um, a bunch of bright side for them, I think. I mean, because again, we know how good of a team they are,
Yeah.
but they beat Purdue, and that's a huge win for them.
Yeah. I mean, great win at home against Purdue. Nothing really else to say about that other than that it's a game that they needed. Because, like you said, they've been up and down this year. They haven't been really too great. They've lost some games they shouldn't have lost.
Yeah, and
I mean,
a qu-
they've played good teams. I mean, their 6 losses haven't come to anybody insanely bad, for sure. But at the same time, you look at the UCLA team and you go, it's not the UCLA team that we have seen in the past. Um, but again, it's a game that they needed this week. It's a game that we knew they could pull off, and they did it. And it's good for them. It's a game that they needed to keep their resume looking really good for a tournament for a good bid, um, for a good seating. And right now, they obviously are looking pretty good in that matter.
Mhm.
They just, I mean, Purdue had a lead in this game. They kind of dominated the whole first half. It didn't really look like UCLA could do anything, and then they tied it up at half. And I mean, second half, man, I, they just kind of played better than Purdue, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's just it's the UCLA team we thought we'd see. They shot amazingly. That's kind of what UCLA can do to you. They can kind of strain you out. Like Purdue only shot 26% from three, 7 for 27, and UCLA only shot 20 of them, but they made 9 of them, and they shot 60% from the field almost. So like it's what UCLA can do, and they just they did it this game. They played the better team. They were the better team in this game. And can't lie. I mean, they look like if they could keep that game up, they could keep what we've seen for them, then they could have a chance to kind of maybe mess around and be up there on the top of the Big Ten.
Yeah, for sure. And before this week, I mean, this was a big week. Before this week, they lost 3 of their last 5. They
Yeah,
lost to Iowa by 13, lost to Wisconsin by 8, lost to Ohio State by 12, and then they only beat Maryland and Penn State. This was a big week for them. And going forward, their next 4 games should be winnable games. I think they should win all 4 of these. But conference play is conference play. They have Oregon, Indiana, Rutgers, Washington. But then to follow that, they got a 3 game gauntlet. They go to Michigan, they go to Michigan State, then they go back home to play Illinois. So they've got they got a tough road ahead of them, but this should be a tournament team. I think they can compete in the Big Ten, but we will see what happens with them going forward. Staying in the Big Ten, though, another team that took down Purdue this week, Illinois. Another team we haven't really, I think they kind of flown under the radar, I guess, kind of. Like, we know they're a good team. I think me and you haven't really talked about them much, but they get a huge win over Purdue. They've won 9 straight. And how about Keaton Wagler? 46th bomb.
yeah, a dog. It was the week of freshmen dropping 40 bombs. And yeah, uh, the only reason we really hadn't talked about Illinois is because they haven't really played anybody as of recent that has been worthy enough to talk about them, beating. Um, but then again, come obviously this last Saturday, they play. I mean, they played probably arguably their best game of the year so far, and beat a Purdue team that has looked really obviously shaky as of late, but a really good Purdue team, no matter the circumstances. And yeah, I mean, like you said, Wagler just, I mean, he went off. Purdue again, first half of this game, they had this game, and they were up 4 going into half, and then second half, and Illinois found it. Found a way to just keep this game close, keep it in reach, and eventually pull away. from Purdue. They shot amazing in this game. I mean, they made 18 threes in this game. 18. They shot 38 of them. They made 18 of them. They were at
For
47% from 3-point line and 48% from the field. I mean, went to the free throw line 22 times, made 16 as well. They shot just overall. They were just amazing shooting the ball. And this is what we know Illinois can do. They are great at scoring, and that's what keeps them in these games. And it was really the only thing that has been questioned this year is could their defense stop a really good scoring team and someone like Purdue? And, well, you saw that they can. So this is really good for Illinois. Obviously, even though we haven't talked about them too much, they have been talked about a lot. They are a very highly touted team. Um, they're obviously fifth in Kimpom. That they are a really good team, and we know that. Uh, I don't know net ranking. I think they're top five as well. I think actually sixth. They're sixth in net ranking. Again, everybody knows they're a good team. They just haven't really played anybody as of recent to be worthy of talking about. Is the only reason. But they got to a big game this week, and they'll have a few big games coming up. 2 games from now, they'll play Nebraska, and then 2 games from then, they'll play Michigan State. They're kind of getting to their heavy part of the schedule in the Big Ten, and so we'll kind of see what they're really made out of. If they could possibly win the Big Ten, I mean, they're still in the conversation, only having one loss in conference with the Michigan State and Michigan teams. So yeah, I mean, Illinois looking like the team everybody knew that they can be, and they proved it, beating Purdue this last week.
for sure, excited to watch them and their game and their conference loss. That's who we're gonna talk about next. Nebraska ball or Nebraska
Yep.
basketball. I mean,
Yep.
what much there to say? I mean, they're 20-0. Just
Uh, yeah. Not. I mean,
like
not much to say. They're beating everybody that they should, and they beat them by a ton of points. They're not really doing anything bad. They're beating the teams they need to beat, and if they keep doing this, then who knows? Now, speaking of keep doing this, they do play Michigan on Tuesday, and that will be the biggest game in the Big Ten so far. I know Illinois Purdue was huge this last Saturday. This game will be the biggest game, I think, for who wins the Big Ten or who has the chance. And again, what Nebraska is actually made out of. We knew they beat Illinois earlier in the season by 3 points. That game was really close. Could have gone either way, and Nebraska pulled it out. But this Michigan team is different than Illinois. And we've seen what this Michigan team can do when they play good, and they can beat anybody easily. So what is Nebraska really made out of? And are they a 1 seed, 2 seed this year, or do they drop a little lower than that? Can they win the Big Ten? Can they not? I mean, overall, man, Nebraska, like we said, they've looked really good. They haven't really done too much bad. They haven't had a close game since they played Indiana, I think, and like January the 10th. And that game
you,
they only won by 6 points. And I mean, since then they've beat teams by 35, 19, 10, and 19. Now all games they should win by that much, but they're taking care of business like they should be. And good teams do that. They beat the teams that they should. And yeah, we'll come Tuesday, we'll see really what they can do. Can't wait to watch that game.
not just them. Three of their next four, they play
Yeah.
Michigan, they play Illinois,
Hmm.
they play the Rutgers, and they play Purdue.
Yeah.
They're about to meet a
This is
tough part.
kind of like we said with Illinois. This is the heaviest part of their schedule, and this is what Big Ten play can do with you, can do to you. They're playing three top-ranked teams in the next 4 games. I mean, man, if this will prove whether or not, like I've said, whether or not Nebraska is this ball club that everybody needs to watch out for, and they could win all these games, or I mean, they're still going to be good even if they lose a couple of these games. But whether or not they can be a 1 seed, 2 seed, or they're going to be a little lower than that, it's somebody that maybe a higher seed might not want to play later in March. But we'll see.
For sure. All right, out of the Big Ten now. We're gonna shift to the Big 12. Um, Texas Tech, huge win over Houston. Beat them 96 to, or no, 90 to 86 in this game. Um,
Yes.
huge win for the Red Raiders. JT Toppin, 31 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists. I mean, I don't know what else you really expected.
I mean, yeah, that's really just the focus. We know what this Texas Tech team is. It is a team led by JT Toppin, and it's what can he do on what night and how many points can he possibly put up. And we knew going into this game, obviously Houston already beat them once. This is, a team that obviously is one of the best in the nation. We know what Houston can do defensive wise, offensive wise. They've been great. Uh, we can't we can't not mention Fleming for Houston dropping 42. Amazing freshman, arguably. Well, I mean, with Cam Boozer and I mean, obviously, sorry, arguably the best freshman in the nation. He's been playing great ball, and 42 points still can't get it done for Houston. Emmanuel Sharp had 20, but then after that, nobody had double digits, and it's kind of, I don't know. This is a Houston game that they had a chance. They had their chances even late down the stretch. They were leading at one point by 7, and then kind of just gave it up. Texas Tech, was up 11 at one point before half, and then was up 6 at half. Houston kind of bounced back, outscored Texas Tech in the second half by 2. Obviously, not enough to win this game. They had their chances. They couldn't make the shots they needed down the stretch when they had to give somebody else the ball other than Flemings. I mean, legitimately, their offense down the stretch of that game was just trying to get the ball to Flemings and him taking a shot. No matter if it was a deep three or if it was a tough layup or a tough jump, something. That was legitimately it. Their plan was to give the ball to Flemings as many times as possible, and it worked for most of the game. But when you're playing a team like Texas Tech and they can score just as well as you can, and they have a guy in JT Toppin who can score just as well as Flemings can. When you go onto the defensive side of the ball for Houston, and what we usually have seen as a really good defensive team, you can't let up 55 in the first half. I mean, that is the most points scored in Houston since, I don't even remember what the graphic was, but it has been a while. I mean, it might be the most under Kelvin Sampson, honestly. It's you can't let that happen if you're Houston. I mean, you're known to be this defensive team, and you let up 55 points in the first half. Second half, obviously they played better, but down the stretch they couldn't get the stops that they needed to get against Texas Tech. JT Toppin was scoring. Atwell had 18. Petty had 18. I mean, they had some fouls down the stretch that just weren't great, and they couldn't get the rebounds. And then again, offensive side, the only offense they had was Fleming's basically. Uh, Again, Sharp did have 20, but down the stretch, I mean, who else would you want to give it to other than the guy who's scoring 42? So, I mean, great game to watch. Amazing game. One of the best games of the year so far. And hey, I mean, two teams obviously we know in the Big 12 that have proved themselves to be in the top. But man, Texas Tech just proving that maybe they're a little bit better than what people expected.
For sure, for sure. Great game to watch. Again, the freshman point guards this week, man. Unbelievable.
Insane.
Speaking of freshman point guard, we'll head to the SEC. Darius Acuff and this Arkansas team. I don't even know what happened to Vanderbilt. I mean, they just blew them out, and then they beat
Yeah.
LSU at home. But Darius Acuff, man, another great freshman point guard. He's been special this year. Um, I got him up top of my list for one of the best freshman point guards in the country.
And he arguably is. I mean, he is really good. Um, Obviously, he can shoot the ball as well as anybody. He can score as well as anybody. And I mean, this Arkansas team, man, we know what they can do when they are good. We've seen it. It's just when they're off, it becomes a little difficult for them. And we knew Vandy. This is a tough stretch for Vandy. Has been. We knew Arkansas was going to give him troubles. Now, beating them by 20, 25 is insane. Not really what I expected. But again, it's the rebounding for Vandy, man. They're not a big team. They're not a big team. And when they can't, they got out rebounded in that game against Arkansas, 39-27. And they just, it becomes hard for Vandy when they can't rebound the ball. And Arkansas shot great in that game. They made 9 threes. They shot 58% from the field. Arkansas did what they did best, and it scored the ball some more. And 30, they were up 31 in that game. I don't know. Vandy didn't go to play. I think maybe it was a little bit of a I don't know if it was a layover from a couple of couple of losses from the last few games. Obviously, they lost two in a row to Texas and Florida, and then went to Arkansas, lost by 25. Maybe it was just a bad stretch for them. They're still a really good team. We know that their guards can play with anybody. They did get a big win over Mississippi State, as in just a big point scoring win, not really a big win. Um, but yeah, Arkansas though, again, we've said it. They can compete in the SEC. There's no reason they can't. There's no reason they can't win the SEC. It's when they have those bad games where they don't shoot great, where their guards or Acuff doesn't get as many points as they might want. They seem to have some trouble, and they seem to get a lot of points scored on them. Their defense doesn't hold up as well. Um, Obviously, the Vandy game it did, and if they could do that, then they will be a tough team to beat in any regards, even come March. But if not, then we have seen they've had some of their own struggles.
For sure. Interested to see what Arkansas can do going forward. Excited and definitely interested to see what Vanderbilt does. We talked about the size for them.
Yeah,
Got to be able to rebound the ball in SEC play.
yeah,
Finally, we'll say one more team in the SEC. Kentucky. They've won five in a row since that crazy buzzer beater.
yeah.
Still really sad, but it is what it is. Um, is Kentucky back on track though? I mean, that's kind of the really just wanted to ask and kind of just talk about them. I mean, is this Kentucky team back?
I mean, man, I think I said it last week. It's looking that way, but we've also seen that Kentucky can be like this and then all of a sudden throw it away. They play Vandy on Tuesday. Will be a big game. They go to Vandy, and we'll see what they can do there. And then they go to Arkansas the next game. Um, I mean, they have tough games. Obviously, every game's tough in the SEC, and we'll really see what they're made out of. They still got a lot of games to go, and I mean, they kind of like Arkansas. They can be a team to win the SEC if they can get hot and if they can score and they can shoot. And if Tega Owe can score like everybody knows he can, or if Denzel Aberdeen can score like everybody knows he can. It's if they could do that, they could beat anybody. But it's the games we've seen earlier in the year that they lost, like when they lost to Mizzou or they lost to Bama by 15. Those games that they lost, they shot horrendous. I mean, they didn't have anything going. They'll have these games where they shoot 20% from three, and then they have these games where they shoot 40% from three, and you're like, well, this was the Kentucky team we thought we'd have, and then what happened in this game? Like, and we've seen them pull out some of the close games where they haven't shot too well, and they still pull off a win. It was kind of like earlier in the season when we talked about them as who could finish games for them. And as of recently, they've had guys that be able to finish games. In the Ole Miss game, obviously Otega Owe had 22 points. That was the big thing there. Nobody else really had anything significant. Um, but this is what we wanted Otega Owe to be. We wanted that end game finisher, that guy you could give the ball to and know he's going to go down and score and finish a game for Kentucky. And if they could do that and they can keep that up, we could see this Kentucky team maybe go deep in the SEC tournament, maybe go deep in March. It's just whether or not those guys can keep it consistently, up and can just consistently keep their play up, even during these upcoming tests in the SEC.
For sure. Definitely something I'm going to be looking forward to or just interested in just seeing what they can do going forward and are they back on track. Um, Just really a quick shout out, more just a mention. Miami, Ohio survives a
They
thriller
do.
when they play Kent State this week.
They
Um,
do.
I watched it. Just wow. It's kind of all I can
Yeah, a
say.
ton of
Wow.
points scored. A ton of points scored. That's all we can say. I think it's every week that we look over and it's like Miami, Ohio, buzzer beater to go to overtime or win the game or oh yeah they barely escape. We'll see how much longer they can hold on. I mean, they could. Who knows? Maybe they just go undefeated all season.
We'll see for sure. But that being said, it is time to head to our games of the week, our little schedule we got rocking here. We'll start on Monday.
We're not gonna
Louisville
do.
and
We're not gonna do stress meter first.
oh my goodness, silly me. Yes, we've got
I
our
hate to
stress
skip
meter.
my.
Thank you for your.
Hate to skip my favorite part. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, it was on here. Should it's gonna be the last thing.
All right.
I
All
flipped
right.
around. We're gonna go stress meter. We'll start with the first team. We got Purdue on here after their two losses
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah. Two tough losses, obviously. UCLA, Illinois, both good teams. We know that. We know that they were two games that they could possibly lose, and they do this week. Um, Purdue, though, we've seen it before. When they lost that huge game to Iowa State and they got blown out, everybody said the same thing: was is their defense good enough? Could this defense stop the teams, these high-scoring teams like in Illinois? Could they stop these teams and keep them from scoring a ton of points, and they could lose these games? Because Purdue isn't really these this. I mean, they're a high scoring team, but Purdue's not just going to go put 100 on you every game and beat you, in that matter. And they they can, but we've seen that they just haven't a ton. Um, for me, though, stress wise, they're still going to be a great team. I mean, no matter what, even with a couple of tough losses, maybe these tough losses actually kind of propel them forward. They go, hey, this is what we're missing. Our defense wasn't great in this game. Uh, maybe we need to pass the ball a little more. They were down on assists these last few games. Maybe rebound a little better. Um, Shooting wise, they didn't shoot amazingly. Braden Smith maybe not having the games that he needs to have. Maybe this is something to kind of propel them forward. So stress for me is probably like a 4, just because it does concern me maybe for them trying to win the Big Ten. They have 2 losses now. There's 4 teams above them in Nebraska, Michigan, Michigan State, and Illinois. So it does hurt. And I don't think Illinois actually. Wait, I don't think Illinois has 2 losses, don't they, in conference play?
They lost to Nebraska, and I think that's it.
No, 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 I was right. Yeah, no, they have one. So yeah, those 4 teams ahead of them in the Big Ten. As you know, the Purdue team that we think should be able to win the Big Ten. That's the only reason it kind of stresses me out. Is we do see that there are some concerns. Even come March, there could be some concerns, maybe with scoring, where they're getting their points from, what these guards can do. Maybe if they can stop these big scoring offenses like Illinois. Uh, but again, they'll bounce back. They'll still win a lot of games. They'll still be a really good team come March. It's just whether or not they can compete for a Big Ten title.
For sure. Interested to see there will be me and you will both be paying attention to that, especially with how good the Big Ten's been. Next, Alabama. I'm on here. They lost to Tennessee 79-73. That was their only game this week they played. They barely beat no, I think they played Oklahoma as well earlier, but they barely beat Oklahoma, who hasn't been that great in SEC play.
Alabama's a tough team because we've said it before. Offense, offense, offense is what Alabama is. And defense is not their strength. It never has been. It probably never will be. Let's just be for real here. They can shoot the lights out, but when they're cold and they don't score a ton of points, or they play a team like Tennessee who can really just bully you on the defensive side, and they have these big, tall players who can really kind of stretch out the floor on the defensive side, it becomes hard for a team like Alabama to score a ton of points. And that's what we saw with the Tennessee game. You know, they kind of just, you know, they didn't shoot great. They didn't make the threes that we're used to seeing Alabama make. And then the defensive side, this Tennessee team's not a high scoring team, but they can score the ball. They've got good players. Obviously, Ament scored 29 that game, and so did Gillespie scored 24. The two guys you knew you needed to stop, and Alabama couldn't stop them. And that's kind of what we've seen with Alabama is they can't really stop when they need to stop guys, when they need to stop teams. They can't really do it. And so, stress for me, Alabama's going to be a great team, but it's the same thing we say every single year, especially going into March or especially going into the SEC tournament, is it's only as far as this offense can take them. And so I'll say like a 5 because legitimately it's right in the middle. It's if their offense can score 95 points every game, then they're going to be a hard team to beat because not everybody can do that. But when they play these teams who have really good defenses who can slow their offense down, they're going to have a really tough time and they're going to lose some of these games. And so it's really just what draw do they get come SEC tournament or, March.
For sure. For sure. For sure. Let's keep going. Um, Dayton lost to LaSalle, lost to St. Joseph this week. Um, a team that we were wondering if they would be able to get a bid, but I think that's slowly becoming out of reach. And I think it might be out of reach, and they may have to go win the A10 conference.
Yeah, Dayton is not the Dayton team we've seen. Um, they can't really get much going. They don't shoot terribly, but their defense isn't too great. They don't really have the guys to be able to compete with the top teams. Even in the A10, we've seen them have troubles. I kind of called the St. Joe's game. I knew they'd give them trouble. St. Joe's is just a tough team. Even though they're not the best team in the A10, they definitely can give anybody troubles, just like any of the A10 teams, like we talked about the other day. Um,
Me and you have had that conversation. I feel like every time, like we consistently talk about it, and I think it's just
yeah,
important. I mean, when it comes to A10 play, why a lot of teams don't get bids because they all beat each other up.
yeah.
LaSalle may not be great, but they can compete with anybody in the A10. Saint
That's really if you look at the games for Dayton, that's really the one that concerns me the most. Is LaSalle is not a good team. They're not. They lost by 25. They were LaSalle was up 25 points at one time, and they only ended up losing. They only ended up winning by 3, but they were up 25 at one point during that game. That's a team that Dayton should not be 25 down to. Not even close. They shot horrendously. They shot 13% from three. Went 3 for 23 in that game. I mean, LaSalle is not this excellent shooting team, but they only scored 67 points, and you were down 25 at one point to them. I mean, that is not what you need. That is not if you're Dayton, that's not what you prepared to do. You don't let Marshall for LaSalle score 25. It just really becomes hard. Dayton doesn't have any big scores. That's their problem too. Is it can't it, Keontae Jones is a good player, um, but like he had 14 in that game. I mean, they don't have anybody that can really take them over the top that we've seen Dayton have in recent years or recent memory when they've had really good teams. Um, it's just I don't know, man. When their top scorers aren't on, like Montgomery, who scores 15 a game, when he's not scoring 15, the state team can't keep up. Their defense, only allowed 67 points. Their offense couldn't score. And then St. Joe's, they lose by 7 too. It's just, yeah. We said the other day, man, Dayton's kind of almost out of the picture for the A10. They, upcoming schedule wise, they play Rhode Island on Tuesday. They play at home, so Rhode Island's going to be a tough team to beat. We've seen them kind of compete with all the good teams of the A10. They're going to be a tough team, and then obviously they play St. Louis after that. And St. Louis, like we were talking about just yesterday, St. Louis is really, really good,
The
and
only the only
I
team in the
really like St. Louis.
the only team in the A10 now Duquesne came close. I think the only team right now that I think that's in the A10 that can beat St. Louis is VCU, and
We
that may
said,
be
yeah, we said the other day, yeah,
that may be just a hot take on my mind. I mean, anybody can beat them, I guess, being conference play,
true,
but I think the
true.
only team that's going to do it's VCU. Um,
Yeah,
but
Dayton for me, stress meter is like a 9, maybe a 10, because at this
I
point they've fallen off. They, like I said, their scorers aren't scoring like they need to do. Their defense isn't playing great when they need to stop. They're not a team that can compete this year in the A10.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point now, I'm not 100% on the Kim Palm ranking, but I'm very positive that they're going to have to win the A10 conference.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely they have to win the A10 conference.
Yeah,
They're not.
after this week's losses, they fell off track on that part. So I think they're going to have to win the A10 for sure.
I don't know exactly where they are in Kim Palm wise. I know net rankings. I'm pretty sure they're like 70th or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. So we'll see what happens with them. They got to get a
85th,
turn.
85th,
Yeah, they fell
way
down.
down there. Yeah,
So they're going to have to win the A10. We'll see what happens there. I don't know why I put this team on here because I think we're both going to agree the stress meter. We talked about them last week. I think we got collectively say at the same time that Seton Hall, we are both
sucks.
yes. I mean, they're we don't. I
Seton
mean,
Hall sucks.
we don't even need to talk about this team. They can't shoot the ball. I mean, it is brutal. They're. I mean, they broke the scale. They're not even a 10. They broke it.
Yeah, no. The stress is you can't have any more stress for them because you just know that they're that bad. Um,
They broke the scale.
Man, they were off to such a great start this season too. They were doing so good, and now they're on a 4 game losing streak. Their shooting percentage is going out the window. I think they're building house. They should become contractors, not basketball players, because they're building more houses with the amount of bricks they're shooting than they are with anything else. It is so bad. I've never seen a team in my life shoot as bad as Seton Hall. And it's one night their best nights are going to be like 27% from three, and the next night they shoot 6. It's like I don't even understand, man. They get
Wait,
bodied on the rebounds, they get bodied on the offensive side, the defensive side. They can't get anything. Stress is out the window. Um, yeah, Seton Hall, man, they would be lucky to make a tournament at this point. They went from
wait,
a certified maybe Big East contender potentially to a tournament team to now we're just holding on for dear life and hoping we stay afloat.
I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
The
Um,
Seton Hall Pirates ship is sinking. That is for sure.
yeah, for sure. Final team on here. I put Virginia on here. Uh, again, they lost North Carolina. Uh, kind of a tough one to lose, being up 16.
Right.
Um, just your quick thoughts.
I mean, stress is kind of like a 2, 3, maybe. I mean, they lost a tough game, yes, to UNC, but UNC kind of found their rhythm in the second half, kind of the UNC with team we expected, like we said earlier. Uh, this Virginia team's still a dark horse in the ACC, to be completely real. They're third in the ACC right now. Only teams above them, they're tied with NC State, Miami with 2 losses, and then Clemson and Duke. I mean, they could still compete for a title in the ACC. Who knows? They might come down to them and Duke at the end of the year because obviously SMU's lost 3 games. UNC's even lost 3 games. They still have a favorable draw just because they're in the ACC. There's a ton of teams that they just will beat. Their next like 4 or 5 games, honestly, even more than that. I let's see. They don't play. They don't play a big team in the ACC until February 21st when Miami comes into town. And then they play Duke on the 28th. They go Miami, NC State, Duke. Those 3 games there, and that's pretty much it. They play Virginia Tech at the end of the year. We've always seen them beat them once. they have a favorable draw. They could go undefeated till those games. They do play a random Big Ten team, Ohio State on February 14th, which will be a little interesting. They do go to Ohio State. Might be a neutral game, honestly. I don't know. Um, but again, they should win like their next five. They'll probably end still ACC play with maybe three, four losses. I wouldn't be surprised if they're battling for an ACC title. They've looked good. They're a dark horse team, and this one loss isn't going to do too much to them. It might, like I said earlier, with a couple other teams, it might propel them. Kind of like with how Purdue lost those two games. This might propel them to kind of get better. Kind of finish out these games a little more, and kind of pull away more than they should. Um, that's the only reason I could see that this team could maybe have some troubles. That we have seen them have big uh, leads and kind of give them up. Let some of these games kind of slip away and not win them by as much as they probably should. Uh, but other than that, stress is like a three. They still have everything ahead of them. They still have every chance to be a really good team and get a really good seed come March.
For sure. Um, Again, I think they're still going to be a good team. We'll pay attention. They could win the ACC. Well, we'll
I
see.
mean, they could. Duke's still miles ahead of everybody else, but yeah,
All right, time for our games of the week, our schedule. I had so much
there
fun
it
making the
is.
schedule.
There it is. There
I
it
had
is.
so much fun. I had a lot of fun.
I have
I
fun.
had a lot of fun. We both had some fun. I loved, of course, just picking the regular games. I had a lot of fun picking the sicko though. Me and you both making the sicko schedule. I was really excited making that. Um, we'll start the regular games of the week. We'll start Monday, and really excited to watch tonight. We got Louisville, Duke, and then
Great
Arizona,
night.
BYU. That's a big night to start college
Only
basketball.
yeah, only three games on tonight, but two of them are absolute just bangers. So can't complain.
Going to Tuesday, Michigan, Nebraska, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, GCU, Nevada, uh,
Yeah,
Indiana, Purdue, George Washington, and St. Louis. Then we go to Friday, skip Wednesday and Thursday. We got
yeah,
Michigan,
nothing
Michigan
on.
State, and then Dayton, St. Louis. St. Louis got a couple interesting teams to play in the A10 this week, so we'll see what happens there. Saturday, Texas Tech, UCF, Texas A&M, Georgia, San Diego State, Utah State, Louisville, SMU, BYU, Kansas, UCLA, Indiana, Kentucky, Arkansas, Creighton, Yukon, St. Mary and Gonzaga, Auburn, and Tennessee. I'm interested to see the Creighton Yukon game. I won't lie to you. That one's
Yeah,
kind of one I'm very
Craig's been on the rise, so definitely.
yeah. And then Sunday, got some Sunday basketball, some good Sunday basketball. Alabama and Florida, followed by Illinois, Nebraska. Hey man,
Alabama, Florida, been playing on Sundays. A little interesting, but they haven't played a. I don't think Florida's played a Sunday game since they played like Dartmouth. So interesting, but
interesting. Now, my
I will say
favorite.
I did want to mention. I did want to mention though. Wednesday, there's a couple of games that I liked. Tennessee, Georgia was a good game. Uh, Butler St. John's is a big game for St. John's to stay on track here, keep their win streak up. Uh, then Houston TCU. TCU's been up and down. Obviously, Houston coming off that loss. See, interested to see how they bounce back. And the last game of the night, San Francisco and Santa Clara. Good old WCC game. Santa Clara's looked really good. San Francisco has competed with teams. They competed with Gonzaga the other night. They ended up losing by like nine or something, but they have competed. So just want to mention those. And then also Thursday, Colorado plays Iowa State. It is at Iowa State, so I wouldn't really say it's too much of a big game. But Colorado has been really competitive with teams in the Big 12, so we've seen Iowa State struggle as of recent. So we'll see if those struggles continue to finish out January.
That's going to cap off our regular schedule. Time for the
Yeah,
sicko schedule.
yeah.
Tuesday, Toledo, Akron,
Great game,
and
great
then
game.
UMass, Miami, Ohio. I'm really interested to see this game. I think
Yeah,
You,
you're
I
throwing strays out there, but they're out there. I mean,
I think there's a chance where UMass gives Miami, Ohio their first loss. I've got a
and
feeling.
honestly, you've seen the last few games by Miami, Ohio, man. They've been really close. They've had some struggles with teams. I mean, honestly, I think anybody could pull it off. UMass hasn't been terrible, like you said. I mean, conference play hasn't been their favorite, but yeah, they definitely could.
Interesting game. I know I'll be keeping a close eye on it. Wednesday, we only have one game. Illinois State, Murray State.
Big game, big
That's a
game in the
huge.
MVC.
That's
Huge
that's a
game.
huge one. Thursday, Furman, Sanford, Liberty,
Ah,
Middle,
yes,
MTSU,
amazing.
Hawaii, Hawaii, UC Irvine,
I'm about to say not
Santa.
even the best games on Thursday though, because the two you just Hawaii UC Irvine. I think it's a 10 o'clock game, 10:30 game, something like that. It is
It's gonna be
really
late.
dang late, but it is a great game, amazing game. And then a 9 o'clock game, like you're just about to say.
Santa Barbara, UCSD.
Yes, yes. UCSD has had some struggles as of late, though. They've lost to a couple close games. Especially if they want to compete in the Big West, they gotta get a little bit better there.
And
But good
then
games.
UMBC in Vermont to close
Yeah,
out Thursday.
yeah. Quite a pool there for Sicko, but they are the two teams leading the American East Conference right now, both 5-1. So that kind of propels one of those teams uh, above the rest. So big game.
Sure. And then one more game on Thursday. Lemoyne and LIU, uh, two of the top teams
Yes, yes. Two.
in their
Yep.
conference. Uh,
I mean, hey, I mean, why not? They're like you said that
two of the top
it's.
teams in the East, in the Northeast Conference.
I mean, yes, they're the top
Heck,
teams in the Northeast.
I mean, I think it'll be interesting to watch, man. Hey, it's a sicko schedule for a reason. Okay,
True
it's going to be
that.
a good
True
game.
that.
It's going to be a good game.
True.
Let's head to Friday. Kent
Yep.
State, Akron. That's going to be a good one.
Amazing.
And then in the Ivy League, Yale and Dartmouth.
Yeah, Yale has looked great, like they always do. Yale always is good. But Dartmouth's right there, sitting at 3-2 with a bunch of other teams in the Ivy. I think Princeton, Harvard, the other two teams at 3-2. Yeah, it's a big game for Yale to kind of take the next stepping stone of being above the rest of the Ivy League.
For sure. Then we move to Saturday.
A lot of
Some
good games.
big one. ETSU Wofford, High Point Longwood,
Yeah,
CBU UT Arlington, Troy App State, Montana State, Portland State to cap out Saturday.
that game's really good in the Big Sky. If you want to watch some Big Sky basketball, I know nobody does because nobody even knows what the Big Sky is. But it's
It's
not the Big Sky outside; it's actually the Big Sky Conference. Um, but great
I
game. Portland
I
State being undefeated still in the Big Sky, 7-0, playing a great Montana State team. It's 7-1.
let me tell you what's great last year. I didn't know the Horizon League was even a conference. Okay.
I
That's the
love the
first
Horizon League.
I watched the conference tournament. Okay. This is when I watched Oakland. They were the first, I think they were playing like Northern Kentucky or something.
Mm.
And I saw Jack Golke and I saw this team win the Horizon League and like they're beating Kentucky. They're gonna be
Man,
Kentucky in the first matchup. And they
I don't know
did.
how. Yeah,
I
I
was
don't
on
know. Anybody
cloud.
can. I don't know. Anybody. How can you not know about the Wright States or the Purdue Fort Worths, Fort Waynes, or the IU Indianapolis Jaguars? I mean, come on, man. I mean, IU sucks, but come on, man. You gotta like. There's some.
The the thing is, you gotta. I love watching these. I love the conference tournaments, especially when they play, because I'm like watching all of them. Because like to me, I'm trying to pick out. All right, which one of these conference champions am I gonna pick in my bracket to win the first round? Because I'm picking one of them either way.
Fair enough. MVC is the one that I know we haven't mentioned at all this year, as in like, but MVC always, if they get, I think they've won a game in March
Eight of the
Madness
last
tournament. Like,
12.
yeah,
Eight of the last
they're the
12. Yeah.
team, they're the conference to look at, and they're really good, obviously. Um, Yeah, there's a lot of good sicko games. I know you mentioned ETSU and Wofford, two top teams in the Southern Conference. Again, nobody even knows who they are. You've probably heard of them because like baseball or something, but they are actually good basketball this year. ETSU's looked amazing. Um, the good old Buccaneers. Nobody knows. No, nobody knows that. Cam Morris, the third, by the way, he's their leading scorer. If you wanted to know that.
I would love to one day just sit down and try to guess all these teams' mascots. Like, can only imagine what eats like. I know Wofford's like it's a terrier, right? They're like the Wofford Terriers, and then like
You
I
know that
couldn't
because
say,
of baseball, because LSU played them a few years ago, and they actually almost lost.
dude, because freaking before the game, these dudes had buckets of smelling salt. Like I'm not doing before they're like they're just freaking sniffing. I'm like, God,
Well, I'm telling you what, Kamari Morris for Wofford, I think takes smelling salts because he averages almost 20 points.
dude, they were absolutely sniffing those things. Like, bro, they had like they were blasted. It was like a 10 11 a.m. first pitch. They're freaking sniffing the smell. I mean, dude, they were going
It's
at
like that.
like
It's like that video. Of the guy that was it. It was a hockey player, wasn't it? That was asking for smelly salts, and he
Ryan
goes,
Reeves.
yeah, he sniffs this one, and goes, no, 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 not the good ones. And then they
Dude,
hand
that
it to
was
him, and he goes, oh my god.
dude, that was Ryan Reeves. He's a dog. I love Ryan Reeves.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
miss him as he was at Vegas. I miss him so much. That dude was a dog. Um, dude, we could go on. Oh my gosh,
Hey, we
that
can't
was
wait for baseball to start up. I mean, it starts a couple of weeks from now.
yeah.
So
We're
I
almost
mean,
we're almost there.
before we know it, we'll be talking about baseball, and Wofford is probably going to be a team we talk about, and ETSU could potentially be a team to talk about. So
They've already came out of the
you know,
predicted brackets, which is interesting. I went and looked at some of the scheduling, but you know what? We gotta go away from it right now. We're getting a little off task, but
we are, we
just
are,
just
we
know
are.
just know just know we are very excited. We are
Yeah.
very excited for baseball.
Don't worry, we'll mention some teams you never heard of in baseball as well.
Dude, we got to guess mascots one day. We just have to. I'm curious. I couldn't tell you what Longwood's mascot is. I couldn't tell
I
you.
still need you to go. I still need you to do the guessing all the D1 teams.
Dude,
There's only 360 of them. I
you,
need you to guess them.
you know why I hate doing it, okay? Because I got to freaking spell them right. I couldn't spell Adeline Christian, okay? I spent 5 minutes of that timer trying to spell Adeline Christian. That's BS. I should not have to do that. You get the point. You get what I'm trying to say. That's BS.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Fair.
Oh,
Uh,
man.
yeah, but you should see that there's a ton of good basketball. Even if you want to watch some of the most random things on the planet, go watch an A Sun team and watch Lipscomb. Shoot the heck at the ball out there. I mean, I don't know. All right, there's a ton of games out there to watch. Whether they be conference, well, obviously all conference games are good. So whether they be a big conference or a small conference, um, yeah, there's a lot of good games. Can't wait till next week and we see who's beat who, and because there's always upsets. Also wanted to mention though, to kind of finish out here, wrap up. Obviously, we mentioned PGA Tour started back this week, and the American Express. Um,
Scotty.
yeah, no surprise, no surprise. Was surprising to see the final grouping though.
Siwoo.
Siwoo Kim and Blades Brown in a group with the number one player in the world in Scotty Scheffler, 18-year-old Siwoo, 18-year-old Siwoo Kim, 18-year-old Blades Brown, and Siwoo Kim, who I think we said it. I said it yesterday. I believe there was a group last year, earlier in the season, where he played with them, with Scotty, but Scotty obviously pulled it out. Man, he ran away with it. Everybody else was making mistakes, and Scotty just did not make any mistakes come
Not on not on
yesterday.
not on Sundays.
I think what last five that he was in a final group, um, or he was in the top like five, 3, 5, something like that, coming on Sundays. He's won. Uh, I mean, man, you put him in a final group on a Sunday, and the man never loses. He does. Big news for him though. Obviously, first time ever winning the season debut. So I don't know if that'll propel him to be even better this year and win more than 7 tournaments. Also, though, it was his 20th victory, so he becomes the third player in in the history to win 20 PGA Tour tournaments. Oh my gosh, and plus uh, 4 plus majors.
I was
Um,
like, you got it, buddy. You
my
got it.
word, my
Mhm.
gosh.
No, you
Uh,
got it.
he joins Tiger, and I am like so mad at myself that I can't remember who else he joins. Is it
Sam
Arnold
Snead.
Palmer, Sam Snead, Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicholas, something, somebody big? I am like really mad at myself for forgetting that, but yeah, great win for Scotty, man. I don't know what this. He might win 10 tournaments this year. I wouldn't even be surprised. He does join the $100 million club though. Um, one of 3 players in the $100 million win club. I believe that's Rory, Tiger, and Scotty.
I
So,
tell you what, I wouldn't be here if I was winning that much money. I'd be
well, no,
way.
no, I don't think if we either one of us was on the PJ Tour, don't think we'd be here.
Yeah, I
Just
got a lot
to
of work.
just to say that. But I did want to mention the Farmers Insurance Open is coming up this week. Got a big field of players, specifically Brooks Koepka starting his
Dude,
first
that
start
is
back on the PGA Tour in
dude,
years. That
I'm
will be big.
excited.
It's one of 2 tournaments in the next 2 weeks. He has invitations to the Farmers Insurance Open and the WM Phoenix Open. Those will be the 2 tournaments that he is already qualified for. That after that, he will have to qualify for the rest of the tournaments because he is not in any signature events or anything. Um, so, yeah, it'll be big of how he plays. Obviously, he's going to want to play good so he can play in the other tournaments this year. Uh, I mean, yeah, it'll be big. Got a great field, obviously. A lot of
How do
big
you
players playing.
they came out with the tee times, right? Or they haven't came out with tee times yet. We have to go to the field
No,
itself.
they haven't come out with a. Yeah, they haven't
Okay,
come out with tea times yet. They'll come
I
out
got.
Tuesday tomorrow.
I'm trying to freaking find the field, but I can't. Oh, here we go. I got
Um,
it. I got it. Okay, I think I got it.
Scotty
I
is
got.
not playing this week. Just to let you know, he doesn't. He takes this week off and then goes to Phoenix.
Dang. Harris English is the defending champion now. Ludwig Ober's playing in it.
Yep.
That's big. Berger's playing.
He did
Uh,
withdraw this last week though.
who?
Ober.
Ober did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So
there's some good players in this field.
big one
I'm
to look
pretty.
for though is obviously Brooks and how he plays. Like I said, he needs to play good the next 2 weeks to qualify for some of their tournaments to get him back on track at the PGA. So we'll see how the PGA crowds welcome him back, but and how he welcomes back the PGA Tour. But who knows? Maybe he wins the next 2 tournaments.
Tommy Fleetwood. Tommy
Yeah, there's
Fleetwood's
a
a
lot of good players. Couple of good weeks of PGA Tour. Obviously, 2 weeks before we get to a couple of signature events in the ATT Pebble Beach Pro Am and the Genesis. So PGA Tour's back in full swing, man. Um, also wonder when the next season Full Swing comes out, but it's back in full swing. So we'll be talking about that a lot more. We'll have a lot of info and news on that and anything that comes up there.
and
Um,
we'll make some predictions. We'll definitely
yeah,
on Thursdays we'll probably just throw in our prediction in the video who we think's gonna win. Or I'm excited. Golf season's back. Baseball's
yeah,
about to be back. I mean, everything's back. I mean,
yeah. Even tennis.
that last night was
It's
the
just
first.
we don't yeah, obviously not many people watch it, whatever. But the
I
Australian Open
was
is in full swing, so
I
we're
was
going into the quarterfinals tonight.
that was the first
Both men's and
time.
women's.
That was the first time I actually sat down and watched tennis, and it honestly was not bad. Like it's one of the things I haven't watched. I think I need to find somebody to root for though. Like I feel like to get me kind of no, not Ben Shelton. No, not Ben Shelton. I can't do that.
I mean,
See,
you're wearing a Gators jersey, man. I mean, just come on, give it to
because
me.
I didn't have a choice. There's a big
True,
difference. I don't have a
true.
choice. Again, shout out to LSU basketball for losing to Florida. Much appreciated. Um, yeah, no. Last night was the first time I actually sat down and watched tennis. I watched. It was Fritz and Musetti. I watched
Fritz
Wang
got
and
demolished.
yeah, and then I woke up at 4:30 to Ben Shelton on my TV. I think he lost his first set 6-2, and then I put that down.
Gator boys stay hot.
And then I fell back asleep. Did I get the text from this dude? Like it was like at 5:30. It was like Ben Shelton.
Hey, he won last night, man. He gets to play
He did.
center in the quarterfinals.
Mhm.
But yeah, quarterfinals are on tonight. If you wanted to watch them, obviously they do play in Australia, so they come on late. Um, but men's side, you have tonight Alcaraz and De Minaur and Zverev and Lerner Tien, an American. He is a young guy on the American side. And then tomorrow night, obviously, Ben Shelton center and Djokovic and why am I forgetting who he plays? I am really mad at myself. Who does he play? I'm blanking. Oh my gosh. Musetti. You just said it. That's who it was. And
Let
then
me
on the
just
women's side, tonight, um, tonight, American, big kind of been more of upsets. Jovic plays the number one women's player in Sabalenka. And then also tonight, Coco Golf and Svitolina play. And then tomorrow night, you have two Americans going at it in the quarterfinals, Pegula and Anisimova, and
that's the one
then
I that's the one I watched.
Rybakina and Swiatek, 5-2 there.
Anisimova and Wang. That was the other match I watched. I will say
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch a lot of tennis. I'm also gonna dedicate my time this summer to watching the World Cup. Okay. I'm gonna watch the World Cup because, well, I need to. Just
Well, yeah, we'll get to that point. We are, yeah, rambling on about all different types of sports, but that's the point of the podcast, so not really too much of a surprise.
man, just go watch. Just go watch everything
You
you
watch
can.
anything. Watch anything. Yeah, anything and everything. I don't care if you watch ping pong at 12 in the morning. You know, good. It's probably on somewhere.
I could go on
Um,
about ping pong. That's freaking impressive. I don't get it. But carry on. I don't know how. I don't even want to get into it. Just carry on.
sure.
I
Well,
hate ping pong.
but again, go watch any sports. Go follow us on our socials: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Um, Obviously, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube is where all our podcasts go out. This will be out soon, and yeah, we'll see y'all Thursday.
Mhm.